G'day everyone, welcome back to Pro Muso. Today I'm going to talk about how much to charge for gigs as a solo performer. Stick around. Okay, before I dive into this, obviously I'm in Australia, which is one location in the world, and in other parts of the world, prices may differ. But after talking to friends from the US, the UK, and over the pond there, New Zealand, okay, that was terrible. Prices seem to be around about the same as they are here. Basically, in any Western kind of country, economies are similar, so it'll be around the same. But do your own research. All right, how much to charge for gigs as a solo performer? Charging for gigs as a solo performer can be a daunting task, especially when you're trying to balance the value of your work with market expectations. Whether you're performing at local gigs, corporate events, or weddings, understanding how to price your services appropriately is essential for maintaining a sustainable career. Additionally, considering factors such as travel time, deposits, and contracts can further protect your interests and ensure that you're fairly compensated for your time and effort. So first we're going to cover local gigs. So local gigs such as performances at small venues, bars, or community events often represent the starting point for many solo performers, mine included. While these gigs may not pay as much as larger events, they offer valuable exposure and experience. They also offer far more regular sustained work on a weekly basis. Basically your bread and butter work. Don't underestimate this kind of work because it can sustain you in winter when gigs are notoriously slower. Okay, setting your rates. When deciding how much to charge for local gigs, consider factors such as the size of the venue, the duration of your performance, and the expected attendance. A common approach is to charge an hourly rate, which can vary depending on your experience and reputation. For beginners, a rate of $50 to $100 an hour might be reasonable. As you gain more experience and build a following, you can increase this rate to $100 to $150 per hour, perhaps even more, but sometimes you just have to accept the going rate, which in Australia, or at least in Perth, where I'm from, is about $100 per hour. A quick reminder, please smash that like button if you're getting value and consider subscribing for more valuable information from the gigging world, such as tutorials, gear reviews, general advice from myself after 25 years of doing this professionally. Thank you. Some venues may have a set budget for live entertainment, while others might offer a percentage of the door or bar sales. But generally they have a set rate they go through agents with. Keep in mind that going through an agent will be a bit less than you can get by going direct with the venue, because of course their commission, but there is usually much more work that way. The value of exposure. While it's essential to be paid for your work, some local gigs may offer opportunities for exposure that can lead to future paid work. However, exposure should never be the only form of compensation. Always ensure that you're receiving at least a base pay to cover your time and expenses. In my experience, venues that offer that exposure narrative are normally trying to essentially extort you for free or very cheap gigs. Perhaps that's good for you. If you're just starting out, it does provide some experience, but once you're experienced enough, I would advise you to avoid these gigs because essentially that price never goes up, even if they get 3 times the amount of people in the venue, or very rarely anyway. Corporate work. Corporate events, including conferences, product launches, and company parties, especially around Christmas time, typically have larger budgets than local gigs and often require a higher level of professionalism. So how do you set your rate for corporate work? Consider charging a flat fee rather than an hourly rate. Corporate clients generally expect a professional, polished performance, and your fee should reflect the preparation and expertise required. A starting rate for corporate events could range from $500 to $1,500, depending on the size of the event and the client's budget. For more experienced performers, rates can go much higher, particularly for high-profile clients or large events. Don't be scared to charge up if they're a big company. Sometimes they're just going to look at the prices and go, who's most expensive? They're probably the best. So don't be scared to charge high. Not too high. Don't price yourself out, but You get a feel for it after a while. Generally for me, I'll calculate this at around $250 an hour. Understanding corporate expectations. Corporate clients often have some specific requirements such as customized playlist, particular dress code, or themed performances. These additional requests should be factored into your fee. Don't be afraid to charge more for special requests, as these can increase the amount of time and effort required to prepare, obviously. Charge for that. Corporate gigs can be an excellent opportunity for networking. Make sure you have your business cards or promotional materials available, as satisfied customers may recommend you for future events or refer you to others within their network. Often happens if you're good enough. Weddings. Weddings are a significant market for solo performers, offering lucrative opportunities if you can establish yourself as a reliable and talented performer. Setting your rate. These wedding gigs typically command higher fees due to the importance of the event and the level of preparation required. Rates for weddings can range from $1,000 to $3,000, depending on factors such as the location, the duration of the event, any special requests from the couple. For destination weddings or high-end clients, rates can go even higher. Tailoring your services. Couples often want personalized music choices or performances during specific parts of the ceremony or reception. Be sure to factor in any additional preparation time when setting your rate. You may also want to offer packages that include different services, e.g. ceremony music, cocktail hour, reception alone, to give couples more options and maximize your earnings. I usually set up a package of about 3 different ones, and also a little disclaimer that if you want a specific tailored option, then talk to me further and we can sort something out, just so everything's covered, because you will get some strange requests. I also offer a DJ service with wedding packages, which has been a huge hit over the years. Doing a solo gig for, say, a 6-hour reception is tough though. Tough on your voice, and you'll need a hell of a lot of dance songs in your rep if you're going to satisfy those guests who want to dance for 3 hours. It's basically impossible as a soloist. So doubling as a DJ solves that issue. Be prepared to cop some rude guests during this time though. People can get very rude once they've had a skinful and are with their clan. I highly advise to buy some portable bollards with rope or seatbelt type extensions to keep people an arm's length and a half away from you and your expensive gear. This will save you some grief. Believe me, I have some stories. Okay, building a reputation. Word of mouth is incredibly powerful in the wedding industry. A great performance at one wedding can lead to multiple bookings in another. Make sure to deliver a memorable experience and ask satisfied clients for testimonials or referrals. Charging for travel time. Travel time is an important factor to consider when you're pricing your services, particularly for gigs that require you to travel long distances. So how do I determine the travel fee? Okay, well, one approach is to charge a flat fee per mile or per hour for travel. For example, you might want to charge 50 cents to $1 per kilometer, or $25 to $50 per hour of travel time. Usually hourly is probably the best way, because sometimes you'll get caught in peak hour and you might take 2 hours to travel 50 kilometers. So if the gig's on a Friday night, charge a bit extra, because if you have to travel through peak hour, you're going to feel it. This fee should cover your time as well as expenses such as gas, tolls, and vehicle wear and tear. It's a thing. Don't overlook it. Overnight accommodations. If a gig requires you to travel a significant distance or perform late into the night, consider including the cost of overnight accommodations in your fee, or require your client to book a hotel. Be upfront with clients about these costs and factor them into your overall rate. You don't want to be driving tired for 3 hours at night. Communicating with clients. Be transparent with your clients about your travel fees from the outset. Include these fees in your initial quote or contract to avoid any misunderstandings later on. Securing a deposit is crucial for protecting yourself as a performer. A deposit serves as a commitment from the client and ensures that you're compensated if the event is cancelled or if the client backs out. which will happen the day before, I guarantee you, and they will expect a refund. Not gonna happen. Standard deposit amount, a typical deposit is about 25 to 50% of the total fee. Personally, I charge 30%. This amount should be agreed upon in advance and included in your contract. The deposit should be non-refundable in every gig, except in cases where you, the performer, have to cancel. When to request the deposit? Request the deposit at the time of booking. This secures the date and helps prevent last-minute cancellations. Make it clear to the clients that the booking is not confirmed until the deposit is received. Personally, I give the client 1 week to pay from the time I send the contract. Handling deposits. Just use a secure payment method for them, such as PayPal or direct bank transfer. Keep records of all transactions and communicate clearly with the client about the payment process. Okay, drawing up a contract. I can't understate this, but a contract is essential for protecting both you and the client. It outlines the terms of the agreement, including the scope of services, payment terms, cancellation policies, and any other important details. What are the key elements of a contract? A well-written contract should include the time, the date, the location of the event, the agreed upon fee and payment schedule, including deposit, a detailed description of the services provided, cancellation policies and associated fees, travel and accommodation arrangements if applicable, and any special requests or requirements, customizing your contract. While a standard contract template can be a good starting point, you may need to customize it for each client or event. Make sure the contract is clear and easy to understand. Enforcing the contract. Having a contract is only useful if you're willing to enforce it. If a client attempts to cancel without honoring the terms, be prepared to assert your rights, whether that means retaining the deposit or taking further action if necessary. Determining how much to charge for gigs involves careful consideration of various factors, including the type of event, your level of experience, and any additional costs such as travel time. By setting appropriate rates, security deposits, and using contracts to protect yourself, you can ensure that your work is fairly compensated and that you're prepared for any unexpected changes or cancellations. As you gain experience and build your reputation, you can adjust your pricing and policies to reflect your growing expertise and the value you bring to your clients. I hope this provides some value to you and helps you avoid the pitfalls that are common in this industry. I wish I had this information when I started. Learning from experience is not always fun. Thank you for listening. I'm out.